Paragon spirit.
How's it going, everybody? So I wanted to make this video and talk about spirit, one of the aspects of a druid that makes it seem not that fun to play in the early game, but once you can find the way to make it so that your spirit is very manageable, and even to the point where you barely ever have to use your basic at all, druid starts to feel a lot better. So I wanted to consolidate all the information into one place about different ways that you can increase your spirit generation or in the ways to obtain spirit and put it into one spot. And in the description of the video, I will include a Google Doc, basically, of all this information compiled in like an easy to use way, so you can kind of like reference that instead of having to like flip through the video. But we'll go ahead and we'll go through them. So the first part we're going to talk about is items, and the ways that items can help you with spirit. The first thing is that you can roll a thing called spirit cost reduction, and this can be found on your boots, your amulets, or your totems. We have it here on this amulet, as well as these boots, and on this totem. So you can see that that's actually one of the first ways that you can get your core skills to be a little bit more manageable with your spirit. The next thing that you can roll on your items, and this looks like it, as far as I've seen, is on your gloves, and it does say that you can get it on your totems as well, but I don't have one of those right now. But this thing called Lucky Hit, up to 5% chance to restore part of your primary resource. Also another way to potentially make it so that you can restore your spirit better. And then also these gloves have lucky hit chance, which a lot of ways to get your spirit back as a druid does rely on lucky hit. So lucky hit chance value does go up a lot for a druid. I do want to mention there is items like helms and rings that increase your maximum spirit. And there is some merit to that because there is going to be things we look on the ability tree, like example Earthen Might, the key passive, that having more maximum spirit actually is beneficial. And I also saw, but I don't have an item to show for you, is that your rings and your totems can also just roll something that just increases resource generation, which would increase the amount of spirit that you generate from your wind shares, or whatever basic that you're using. One of the other ways is actually through your spirit boons by the use of Energize, giving a lucky hit chance at dealing damage, it's 50% chance to restore 10 spirit. Next, we're going to look at our abilities here and the ways that we can find it in our skill tree. So we can get something called Abundance, which makes it so our basic skills generate more spirit. If you ever build that you're shapeshifting in and out of human form into another form, maybe if you're running Pulverize and you're using a basic like Storm Strike, you can use Clarity, gain 2 spirit when transforming into human form, and this goes all the way up to 6 spirit. One of the more heavy-hitting ways that you can get spirit back in the skill tree is by these 2 key passives. First one being Perfect Storm. This one is only attached to Storm skills, but it does grant you 1 spirit back every time you cast a Storm skill. And the big one and the most popular one that people use is Earthen Might, which just makes a lucky hit damaging enemies worth skills, has a 5% chance to restore all your spirit. So this actually goes back to what I was saying about how having more maximum spirit is beneficial if you're using this. And you can even use this with Storm skills if you have the aspect that allows Storm skills to also be used with Earthen Might. In the Paragon board, we have the legendary node Lust for Carnage. Critical strikes of werewolf skills restore 2 spirit. We also have a rare node that's under the Ancestral Guidance board, plus 2 spirit on kill, and you can even pick up a few magic nodes that also increase this up to 4 spirit per kill. And the last Paragon way to reduce your spirit costs is with Inner Beast. After shapeshifting, your spirit costs are reduced by 10% for 5 seconds, up to 30%. The next part we're going to talk about is aspects. One of the first aspects we have here is Direwolf's Offensive. Makes Grizzly Rage be a werewolf ability, but it also reduces your spirit reduction by up to 50%, even 100% if you use this on a 200 weapon. Next is the aspect of the Umbral. That's a ring aspect, and you restore up to 4 of your primary resource when you gotta control an enemy. Aspect of the Unsated, another ring enchant. that works with Shred and makes it so your next werewolf skill generates 30% more spirit. There's a simulation resource aspect, which the ring is as well, and this has to do with dodging. So whenever you dodge, you gain primary resource. Next is the balanced resource aspect, which basically makes your Grizzly Rage increase your spirit generation by up to 20%. So there's the mangled resource aspect, and when you are struck as a werebear, you have a 30% chance to gain 1 spirit. The next one is the Starlight resource aspect, which gives you up to 20% of your primary resource for every 25% of your life that you also another ring aspect. And the last one is there's the aspect of the Calm Breeze that adds a lucky hit to your wind shear that gives it a 5% chance to fully restore your spirit. For this last part, I just wanted to bring these up, but I do think that these are kind of a little bit harder to obtain, obviously, and they don't fit in every build, but there's a few uniques to help with it. The Fist of Fate have that lucky hit proc for your gloves that chance to restore primary resource. The Frostburn gloves also have that lucky hit chance to restore primary resource. There's the Mother's Embrace ring, the ring that everyone gets off of Lilith at the killer, which you can also drop this later on as well, which makes it so if your core skill hits 5 or more enemies, up to 40% of resource cost is refunded. And the Temp Restorer helm, which I'll have to admit this one's kind of hard to get. A lot of people have struggled with it, getting this one, but storm skills have up to a 25% chance to grant you 4 spirit. There's even a few potions that you can get. There's Expertise Elixir, which reduces resource cost by 20%. Elixir of Resourcefulness increases your maximum resource by 50. And then I would like to mention this one as well because a lot of the resource gaining abilities is tied to lucky hit chance. So you can even use an Elixir of Combatant Fortune, which increases the lucky hit chance by 30%. So just some final thoughts. These are just a collection of ways that you can better increase your spirit generation and sustain as a druid. Basically makes playing the druid feel so much better. And if you go and you want to look at builds online and see what they're doing, maybe just using these little ideas and concepts of how to get better spirit generation will just help you with the build that you've taken, especially when you're at different aspects of leveling. The builds aren't always fully fleshed out, but maybe you can use some of these spirit generation tips to basically help make the build feel better now, and then later on once the build fills out, I'm sure they already figured that out. But I do want to also add just one of the best ways that I think while leveling up and everything about how to make spirit feel better, and I do think it's once you can get access to Earthen Might, making a build around Earthen Might does feel like the best way to sustain spirit as early as possible, and this does work off a lucky hit, so increasing your lucky hit chance goes a long way with this. And then also you can use this aspect here that says the Earthen Might key passive also applies to your storm gills, so if you wanted to use Tornado or Lightning Storm as well, using the use of this aspect, if you have found it by the time that you get the key passive, makes Druid feel a lot smoother. But thanks for watching the video, and if you guys made it this far, I have a Twitch channel, you can check it out. I don't stream much right now, but I might, maybe if I get a little more traction on it. And then I also have a Discord server. There's really not much going on there, but if you do join, I'm in there and you can ask me some questions or maybe post some cool things that you have found out. But yeah, hope you guys liked the video, and you can comment below if you want to talk about other ways that maybe I didn't mention about how to get spirit sustain feeling well, or whatever's worked good for you. But thanks guys.